So, hello, my name is Syeatta Penson. I'm the starter of this page, Fighting for a Cure SS. And I also started this topic. I wanted to, well, the page is to spread awareness for sickle cell anemia. And I wanted to get more in depth because a lot of people have heard of, or I kind of know what that is, or my cousin got that, but they don't really know like in depth what a person with sickle cell deal with every day on a day-to-day basis. So I originally wanted to get about 10 girls together to send in a video and explain what sickle cell is like for them on a daily basis. There was one girl in particular, she didn't really get her video through, but when I talked to her through my page, even with me having sickle cell, I didn't know that we go through what she was actually going through. And I wanted her, to talk about that and explain it because, it's a lot of stereotypes about this disease. And it's sad because, and I'm going to say it because it's a black disease. It's a minority disease, a person of color disease that we are automatically hit with a lot of stereotypes. And I wanted to talk about, how it's not true, or it's not happening, or that's not it, or so I made do with what I had. So I have two beautiful young ladies who sent in a video who's going to speak on their personal experiences, and I actually took from their videos. So I am going to kind of outline, my story, what I talk about, how I introduced them based on what they talked about, and they talked about some really good, things and touched on really good topics. And me just being the, I guess you want to say, host, I'm just going to go in depth, go deep, explain more on certain things about sickle cell. And yeah, we just want to put it all together and make one good video, post it to my YouTube. And I hope everybody watch it, and I hope everybody likes it and comment. So we have ShiRhea. I hope I said that correctly. Don't kill me. I know my name is crazy, so. And Chasidy. Both of them came on, sent me a video and they explained, how they deal with their sickle cell. And they touched on a lot of topics. The original video was supposed to be something quick, 3 minutes. So a lot of the topics they touched on, they couldn't go into details. So I'm going to go into detail, get deeper, at least from my experience. I know with ShiRhea, she touched on a lot of things, such as like childbirth, such as life expectancy, how long they expect us to live, what type of surgeries we go through, and things like that. So she's going to introduce herself. She's going to, give you her background, give you her story, and then I'm going to come back in with it, and I'm going to talk about, I'm going to just ping pong back and forth, the experiences. So.
ShiRhea More next. I am 35 years old. I'm from Washington, D.C., and that's period. I have sickle cell SS. So, the obstacles that I feel I have overcame are just everyday life, just getting up every day, just pushing to make my way through. Every day I'm in some type of pain, so it's not always easy. I still work, I'm a mother of 5 kids, so I'm still doing things normal every day, like a normal person would. So sickle cell is not going to define me. No, it's not easy. It hurts so bad. I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy. But with God and, faith, I keep pushing. As far as my surgeries, I've had my gallstones removed and my appendix. I've had plenty of ICU visits due to pneumonia. So mainly pneumonia is what gets me to the ICU. The doctors didn't expect for me to still be here. They say after 18, you won't live to see 18 is what they say. But like I said, I'm 35, so that's so not true. As far as, children, they say that, it's not even good to have kids. And I have 4 biological kids that I pushed out. So the devil is a liar. So yeah, I'm thankful for that. Yeah, every day is not easy, but I find the strength to do it somehow. My motivation is my 5 children and my bomb-ass husband. Period. So that's what motivates me and keep me going and keep pushing me to the limit. That is all I need to wake up every day and continue to fight to make sure that I make it out of that hospital each and every time that I go. Yeah, so that's your girl living with sickle cell assets. Period.
What's up, everybody? My name is Chasidy. I'm 26 years old and I'm from Dallas, Texas. I have sickle cell anemia and my type is SS. I'm the oldest out of 3 and the only one with the disease in my family. Growing up with sickle cell was a bit of a struggle because I was always told people like us didn't make it past the age of 14. At the age of 4, I started to have acute chest syndrome, and by the age of 5 or 6, I had to get some throat surgery just to keep me from getting that again. At the age of 17, I did have a stroke. I had short-term memory loss, which I had to find my own way of getting my memory back, at least enough in my opinion. And the doctors also believed I wouldn't learn as rapidly any longer, or I would have a lot of emotional distress, which was true. But by the grace of God and my support system, I've came a very long way, and I'm doing much better. After the stroke, I did have to start getting apheresis, which I still do to this day as well. I do it once a month. It is a blood exchange. You have to have 2 veins, one where you get units of blood at the same time. The other vein, they remove the sickle cells and cleanse your blood, and they give it back to you at the end of the procedure. As you can see, I have a port on my left side. This one here is an old scar. With the port, I've had it replaced about 4 or 5 times. Mine doesn't work. It works when it wants to. And for you who are thinking about getting it, I would just say if you don't need it, don't get it. Everyone has their own pain tolerance. And I had to get it only because I have rolling veins on my right side. So it was best for me just, to have easier access to get that procedure. As far as triggers, I had asthma. So with us already having an issue of low oxygen, with the asthma attack, it was followed by a crisis. And if I had a crisis, it was followed by an asthma attack. That's just how that worked hand in hand with me. Also, just being from Texas, the weather changes a lot. So I was always sick and can get sick in any season. Being around people who are always sick, unsanitary environments are not well for us. Also, ladies, having a menstrual cycle, that's a lot when dealing with sickle cell. So definitely be careful and just kind of rest up during those times because it can take a toll on your body, as well as anyone who is very active on the daily, works a lot, and you don't get enough rest. Just any kind of stress is not good. Even good stress can be a trigger, believe it or not. I remember one time I actually gained water weight. I thought something was wrong, and they said, "Oh, you're having a crisis, but you're not in pain," but they couldn't admit me. So just be careful with that. if you do struggle with gaining water weight a lot. But honestly, I would just say never let sickle cell run you. Still be who you are, still do things that make you happy, and go the places you want to go. I'm fighting every day for myself, for you other women, men, and children. I got this a few years ago just to represent us, which is faith, hope, love, and sickle cell. I love you. Keep up the fight. Thank you for having me.
Another thing I wanted to talk about is that we need to fight for ourselves and spread awareness. I have encountered so many people with sickle cell. Let's take Facebook for example. I probably have like 400 or 500 friend requests that I will not accept. Most of them is from people with sickle cell. And I'm going to tell you why. Not mean, I'm not bougie, I don't think I'm better than anybody, but a lot of people with sickle cell, because they went through so much, they go through so much, they have to deal with proving and telling the truth. You know, something I talked about in my personal video, that their mentality becomes to be sick and die. You know, I don't know why I'm doing this anyway, I'm just going to die. You know, I'm not going nowhere, I'm not going to never do nothing with my life because I'm just going to die. You know, I'm just going to sit on here and I'm going to cry all day and whine all day. I'm not going to do nothing about it because I'm just going to die. We are all going to die. Every last person on this earth is going to die. We are all going away one day. You don't know where you're going. She don't know where she's going. You may last longer than the healthiest person right in the room right now. So that mentality, I can't get with. I cannot get with that bomb, like sympathetic, down. I can't get with it because I'm working on me spiritually, mentally, you know, my mind, being in them hospital rooms by myself, you know, and I mean by myself, like, you know, after hours, because my mom, my support system for my family is bomb, but being in them rooms by myself, having panic attacks, you know, hearing the devil tell me that I'm not making it out, hearing the devil tell me that I'm not leaving this admission, you know, hearing the devil tell me that I'm not coming back to my baby girl. This is stuff that I'm dealing with, but I'm working on. And you need to surround yourself with people that's better than you. And when I say better than you, I mean that's on the level that you want to reach. Don't surround yourself with people that you didn't pass, because while you climbing now, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't help other people, but while you climbing, you constantly picking somebody else's weight up. But we have to advocate for ourselves. We have to spread awareness for ourselves. And no, we don't have to have an awareness page. No, our page don't have to be sickle cell. So hi, my name is Syeatta. I am 32 years old. Sometimes I forget. And I have sickle cell SS. There is, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. There is, you know, a few different types. I don't know them all. I know it's SS, it's SC, it's theta. It's beta, it's I don't know them all. And that's one thing that is a goal of mine this year, is if I'm going to spread awareness, I want to make everybody feel just as important, just as equal, because we are all sisters and brothers through this thing that ties us together called sickle cell. And we go through pain, you know, we go through surgeries, we go through near-death experience, ICU visits. And I don't want to make one group, or I don't even want to put us in a group. I don't want to make, you know, one person or group feel less than, because this disease is just horrible all over. And you'd be surprised that I've had arguments with people about what type is worse, what type is not that bad, what type is, and it's just all horrible to me. I have SS, and according to, you know, science and doctors, that's the worst type, or the most severe type you can have. It has the most complications and, you know, deaths and shortest life expectancy and things like that. So if I want to start from the beginning without getting too deep into science, sickle cell disease is basically found on your chromosome. It is they're still not sure if it's a mutation or whatever that's found on your chromosome. You get one from your mother and one from your father. So no, you cannot catch sickle cell disease. It's not a sexually transmitted disease and nothing like that. You can't get it from having sex, from coughing, from shaking hands, none of that. You're born with it. So a lot of us get this question, and you think when you're dealing with doctors and nurses and they ask you this question, first thing in my head is, run. How long have you had sickle cell? Or how long have you been dealing with sickle cell? My entire life. I was born with it. No, you may not as a baby experience a crisis, as when you're first born, but you're born with it. Whether it is, causing you pain or not, you're born with it. And it basically affects your red blood cells. Now, red blood cells is important because they carry oxygen throughout the body to your other organs. So what happens is that red blood cells die off faster than a person that doesn't have sickle cell disease. Number one, a normal red blood cell is shaped like a donut. It's shaped like a circle. It's soft, it's squishy, so it can maneuver through the body, through the different size veins, types of veins, small, curved, tiny, baby, big. A sickled cell is actually exactly what it sounds like. It's a cell that's sickled, and the sickle is kind of like shaped like a crescent. It dies. It goes from being soft and squishy and, healthy, and it kind of dries out and dies. So imagine you have cells like this, stiff, trying to maneuver through your body, through veins, through small ones and curved. It causes pain. It gets stuck. It causes blockage. It causes swelling. It cuts off oxygen to, your organs. And it causes complications. I always like to tell people more so, sickle cell is not something that's like, you're dying, you got sickle cell. It's more so the complications, the effects, or, what it causes in your body that actually messes you up. So it is controlled with pain medicine, heavy narcotics, fluid breaks, pain crisis. They have now, I'm 32, they have a few drugs out to try to manage it, a few different drugs out, and we're just living, I say. So sickle cell, for me personally, growing up, I had a lot of pain crises, but I didn't have a lot of complications. And I used to always press on the fact, thank God that, I did not have a lot of complications, because I have, in my immediate family on my mom's side, myself and my sister. Now I have 6 siblings, and 6 of us all together. Me and my sister has the disease, and my brother has the trait. Aside from us, I had 2 older cousins that have it. One passed away, and the other one, she still have it. But in our immediate family, it's just us 4 that have the disease. You can imagine that the trait had to be floating around in order, it's floating around on our side in order for us to get the disease. On my dad's side, I don't know anybody with the disease, except for me and my sister. I didn't even know anybody had the trait, but my dad has to have the trait to get it. And then having quick conversations with my aunt, she would say, trait all up and down our side. So they're more so familiar with trait than the disease. And just so happened my mom, who had the trait, met my dad, who got the trait, and produced 2 daughters that had the disease. So that's how that happened. But as a child, I had pain crisis. I was hospitalized, but I didn't have a lot of complications. Like, I didn't have surgeries, I didn't have pneumonias. I wasn't in the ICU. I wasn't put on I seen even friends. I met some neighbors, or just people in the hospital, they were on 3rd surgery, when it was time to take meds, they were taking 15 pills, and I just always felt like, oh God, I can handle sickle cell, because sickle cell didn't really bother me as a child. It wasn't until I hit 8. It's like every age milestone, I began to deal with something new. So once I hit 18, I started having really extremely excruciating pain crisis. So whereas though I would be crying out for my mom would be crying. she would be holding my hand. And with sickle cell, when you have any kind of disorder, we were able to stay at our children's hospital until we were about 24, 25. After that, they do kick you out. But at 18, I didn't have to go to an adult hospital. They actually transition us over, because there's a lot that goes in, to that. I was with my doctor, they're called hematologists, to study your blood. I've been with her since I was born, and then to be 25 and just skip over to somebody else, I wasn't comfortable, and I guess that's something that they knew that they would have to do, or they were dealing with. But anyway, once I turned 18, I started having really bad, excruciating pain crises. I mean, like, I would be at college, I would be 3 hours away, I would get ambulance rides home, 3 hours to come all the way back down to my hospital, because number one, I wasn't comfortable outside of my comfort zone. But number two, you'll find that a lot of hospitals don't know about sickle cell. They don't specialize in it. I've been to a hospital. I was at work one day, separate topic, and I had an excruciating pain crisis, and I was rushed to the hospital. And although they were so nice, they were so hand and foot, they knew nothing about sickle cell but that it was painful. So they actually was feeding me so much pain medicine. They crossed my threshold, and I could have overdosed. When I actually got back to my doctor, explained, like, I didn't know what withdrawal was at that time. I was withdrawing, I was sweating, I was vomiting, I was shaking, like, once I got out the hospital. And she said they were giving you, when she looked at my chart, she said they were giving you so much medicine, like so much, like, narcotics, that it was damn near dangerous. And it's like, same thing with people that we sit around every day. They know of it. Like, I don't expect for you to have went to school and, got a degree in it. But it's like, they know of it, but they don't know much. And it's like, in your family bloodline, I can guarantee you have somebody that at least have the trait. Some kind of trait. Some kind of theta, beta, some kind of something. And people, and this goes for a lot of things, and even with me in other departments, people don't want to learn about it, or want to know about it, or want to go hard for it until it hits them. And this is something that should be learned about before it hits you, because number one, you if you're dealing with somebody that has sickle cell, it's a lot. They need you. And that's one reason why I am so hard on spreading awareness, because people don't understand what we deal with and go with on a daily basis, and that we need that, what's the word I'm looking for? That support. That support is crucial in our relationships and our friendships, and and with our family. And people don't understand it. They don't understand that support is like number one. So that's why I go so hard with it. Back to me being, when I'm 18, I went through that for a while, probably till I was like 25. Didn't stop me from living. I still was in college, still was partying, drinking, going out, having fun, living my life, because I celebrated my birthday big every year, because my motto was just like, every year that I turned a different age, I beat sickle cell. That life expectancy never once stuck in my head. Never once talked about it. I didn't want to know about it. I didn't want you to tell me at what age you thought that I was going to die, because you was not God. I never thought that, 13, I'm not going to make it no more. When I transitioned from children to adult, I did get a book. In the book that I did turn to a page, and the life expectancy was 34 or 40. That stuck with me for a little bit. And I know I couldn't do that, and I couldn't handle that. So it was like, that life expectancy stuff, no. I don't want to sit here and just be waiting for, okay, now when I get 40, I didn't die. Don't, based on science and research, I understand that, but don't tell me when God is going to take me. God put me through this. He gave me this battle. He said I was strong enough, and I'm going to fight. And I'm not going to fight until the age you think, that I'm going to last till. So after that about 24, 25, my crisis calmed down, and That's when I started, I'm not going to say started trying to get pregnant. I got pregnant and I started having miscarriages. The first time I got pregnant, it wasn't planned, it wasn't expected. I didn't really, not saying I didn't want kids, I did not want kids, but once I had that first miscarriage, it was like, I want kids. I want to be able to reproduce. I want to be able to know that I can have a child. Then I got pregnant again and I had a miscarriage again. And it crushed, both of them crushed me. But right at that point, I felt like I couldn't have kids because I couldn't carry them. I was, having miscarriage at 6 weeks, 7 weeks. They couldn't tell me why, if you're female, you gotta have 3 or gotta have consecutive for them to even look into it. And I spent from about 25 till about 30 something just thinking that I couldn't have kids. And it was hard. It was depressing. Just imagining them years when anybody would get pregnant, even random Facebook friends or Instagram friends. I was heartbroken, because that was their happy moment, that was their happy time, and it was something that I felt like that I would never experience. Now, after my second miscarriage, I got on birth control because the guys that I was dealing with at the time, they wasn't really supportive. They didn't know how to be supportive. And I just knew that if I had to if I was going to be one of those girls that was, that had a hard time carrying babies and having kids, I wanted a better support system. And I wanted it to come, better from, I wanted it to be better coming from me. I have my family. That's inevitable. I feel like, they're supposed to be there. But I don't birth control because I didn't want to get pregnant by somebody that could not be there for me emotionally, mentally. That stuff is crazy and wrecking. After the pain crisis, you see I'm going off coming back. I had a whole lot of pneumonias, lung infections, the flu. I mean, in the summertime, it'd be 100 degrees outside, and I'm admitted for the flu, and then that turned into pneumonia, to the point where I got scar tissue in my lungs. Like, if I get an x-ray right now, they'll probably say, oh, it looks like you have pneumonia. But if you don't know that once you get pneumonia, and that scar tissue develop, it kind of always stay there. So that's why it's important, for like the hospital you go to, the doctors, you interact with, because they should know certain things like that. Like, if I get admitted tonight, don't tell me I have pneumonia. I don't. It's just, it's scar tissue, but make sure, that you're diagnosing me correctly. So I had a lot of run-ins with pneumonia. I did, when I was 13, get my gallbladder out. I had gallstones. But I still have my spleen. That's like one of the first things that go with sickle cell people. I still have my hips. That's another thing that go. I know a few people who have hip replacements and they're not even 30, both their hips replaced. Know some people that's over 30, maybe 35, and got already, one hip replaced, and they already seen another, because we go through this, it's a bone thing. Your blood is made through the marrow of your bones, so it's a bone. Our bones deteriorate. We have bone pain. We go through just a cold that's magnified to us because of our immune system, because of our, our blood intake and stuff. So I can have a cold, and a cold can treat me how pneumonia would treat you. I'll be messed up. People don't understand that. And this is something that I say. And if you have somebody with sickle cell, and if you understand this, and you keep this in your mind, in your brain, in the back, front, middle, if you just always think about this one thing that I'm about to say, your relationship with the person that, has sickle cell, if you want to do better, it will get better if you just keep this one thing in mind, that every time we go into the hospital could be our last time. My mom hate when I say that. My family hate when I say that. I hate when I say that, because I don't want to think about that. I'm on my spiritual journey, something separate, where I am, I was afraid of death, for a long time. And I shouldn't be, because I'm a very spiritual person, but I was. And that's something I don't want you to think about, especially now that I have a daughter. I actually did wind up having a baby, y'all. But